All right, so in part one of this character animate tutorial, I'm going to show you how you can make a character in Illustrator. And the plan is that making a character in Illustrator, and then we're going to save that Illustrator file and we're going to end up opening it in After Effects in the second video and learning how to animate it. So first things first, let's make a new file. Size doesn't really matter. Just because I like working with even canvases, I'm just going to put 10 inches by 10 inches, and I'm gonna click create. Oh, well, that didn't turn out 10 by 10 inches, but I can always click my artboard button here to resize something. So up here, I'm gonna make this 10. There we go. Okay, so first thing to know is you can make anything you want, of course, using the shapes, but what you have to really think about for preparing for After Effects is your layers here. So if you've used Illustrator before, you know that you can place a ton of shapes everywhere. But unlike Photoshop, where Photoshop will make individual layers for each of these shapes, um, Illustrator doesn't do that. It has like one layer until you tell it to have a new layer. So the problem is if I make a character and I'm just going to, I don't know, make some really weird looking thing real quick. Doesn't really look like a character, but just for demonstration's sake, little robot guy, and I want to animate his eyes blinking or something, well, that won't work when I export this Illustrator file because it's one layer. And After Effects basically takes each layer and you can only animate each individual layer. So what we need to do is you'll need to label each layer. So if I'm doing a character, I'm going to build my character first and then I'll show you how to do it. So um, I'm just going to make a simple human looking character. I like to use the rounded ellipse rectangles and drag that out to make a box. And then I like to use my direct selection arrow. And if I drag down here across those bottom four anchor points, I can then grab the little meatballs, little white circles, and drag. And I'm trying to create just kind of the bottom of a head, and that's fine. And I can round the top if I want, but I don't care too much about the top because I'm gonna put hair over it anyway. Um, so this is gonna be the face. So I can go ahead and click on it and go over to my layer, and I'm gonna double click and type face. Okay. So I am now gonna make a new layer, and down here I'm just gonna hit create new layer. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab an ellipse tool and I'm going to double click on my fill, give it like a white color because I'm going to now make an eye. And I'm just going to go over here. I'm holding down Option or Alt if you're using a Dell computer, holding down Alt, clicking, and holding down Shift if I want to keep it even, but I don't really care about keeping it even right now. Just kind of make a shape like that. But eyes are rarely perfect ovals, right? So I'm going to use my direct selection white arrow and click on one of these anchor points and drag and kind of give a little like corner. And you'll notice that in a new layer, the new layers invent new colors for the paths. So like my face layer, if I click on my face, you'll see it's blue, but this eye is red. You can change those. So over here, if I call these eyes, if I double click on this red bar, oh, maybe I have to right click. I always forget. There we go. Um, Double click on it. Right now, light red is the color it's assigned, but I could change this to orange or violet or pink. I think I'm going to change it to pink. Click OK. It doesn't really matter. It's just a better way for you to organize and see things. So I'm going to use my white arrow and just kind of make the eye a shape I want. Doesn't really matter. Perfect. Now, what I'm going to do is I am going to add an eyelash just because I want to, and I'm just going to keep this in the same layer as eyes. And to do that, I'm clicking off. I don't want this to be selected. I want to click off of it, and I'm going to grab pen tool, double click on our fill color and grab a darker color like a dark gray or a black. And then I'm going to reverse this because I want to use this as a stroke. And I'm just going to click along the side of this eye. There you go. You can kind of see it appearing. And I just kind of connected and made the top part. It's okay if it's not perfect. because what we're going to do is click on this eyelash and we're going to grab the width tool right here, which allows us to change the thickness of certain areas in a path. I'm going to click on it and I'm going to just thicken the eyelash a little bit. And that's perfect. That's all I want. Okay. Um, so now I'm going to click on the white eye and I'm going to, well, actually a quick way to do this is if we go over to this eye layer here, if you click the little meatball or little target right here, if you click this, it'll grab everything that's in that layer, which includes the eyelash and the white eye. And I want to reflect these on the other side of the face because we have two eyes. I'm going to go to rotate and right click and click the reflect tool, which you can also get if you click O. Click that. I'm going to hold down Option or Alt if you're on a Dell. And I want to find the center of the face, which if you kind of scroll your cursor around the center, you should see it kind of pops up. It's hard to see on my screen, but there's a little sensor that's saying it. You could also go to the bottom anchor point here, but you just want the center of the face, and I'm going to click. And this reflect panel is going to pop up, and I want to click copy. Vertical copy. Perfect. Got two eyes. But I now want to make a new layer because I want to make the pupil. Pupil, I don't know if I spelled that right, but it's fine. Pupil or the color part of the eye. And I'm just going to grab a circle, grab whatever color I want, and click on one of the eyes. And I'm going to hold down, or I'm not going to click on it. I'm just going to go near it. And again, hold down Alt and Shift to keep an even circle and just make a middle of the eye. And I'm not going to bother reflecting this. I'm just going to hold down Alt, which if you hold down Alt, you'll see these double arrows. That allows us to click. If I hold down Shift, I'm holding down Shift and Alt at the same time and dragging over and placing the pupil on the other side. And you can kind of position these whatever way looks right. If your person looks cross-eyed, then fix them, adjust them. Awesome. So these are the pupils. These are the eyes. This is the face. You could also add a nose on the face. I don't really animate the nose, or I'm not planning to animate the nose, so I'm okay putting it on the same layer as the face. So that looks like I'm making like a Goofy movie character, but I'm just going to drop a nose in. And if I'm trying to scale something, so see like if you grab this and try to scale it, you're going to shift it over to the side. If you hold down Alt while you're like scaling something, it'll keep it centered. So I'm holding down Alt. Perfect. I want this to be like kind of closer skin matching to my face. So I'm going to click on my face, but that's too close. So I'm going to double click on my fill and I'm going to just kind of make this slightly darker, maybe a little pinker. Look okay. Still looking like a Goofy movie character a bit, but that's fine. Perfect. I'm going to also create a layer for eyebrows. I might skip this part because I make a lot of different layers. Well, actually, no, I'll make this and then I'll show you how we animate in After Effects. And this way you'll know just like how to add different things and you can add whatever you want. You could add a bunch of different things you want to animate. But I'll stick just with the face for today. Okay, so I'm grabbing the pen tool. I'm going to click a eyebrowish color. Let's just go with like a brown. It's fine. I am going to switch to a stroke and I'm just going to make an eyebrow shape. And like I did with the eyelashes, I'm going to use my width tool and kind of make the eyebrow have some thickness where I want it to have. Awesome. If I want to make this a shape, I can click on the eyebrow and I can go Object, Expand Appearance, and that'll make it a shape. I've got some wonky parts on my eyebrow. I'm just going to click on it and I'm going to take the cheater's way and go Path Smooth. If I click this, this little dial appears, and as I drag it, it'll smoothen out my path. Sweet. I'm going to reflect this the same way we did the eyes. I'm going to click on the eyebrow, go to Reflect, hold down Alt or Option, click on some middle like anchor, and I'm just going to use the nose because the nose is in the middle, and I'm going to click right there and I hit vertical copy. Sweet. All right. And then I'll make a little mouth and we'll call this good because then you basically get the kind of basic idea of how you add different elements and all that and you layer them. Um, I'll add a mouth real quick. I'm gonna just kind of add it right here. So just adding a new layer, calling it mouth. Um, I'm going to start with an ellipse over here, and I'm going to try to make basically like a lip, like a mouth lip. So I'm creating one part to make it pink or kind of lip colored. And then I'm going to grab this and I'm going to hold down Alt and make a copy. And then I'm going to flip this copy upside down and I'm holding Shift as I rotate it so that it keeps, so that it like evenly turns in 45-degree angles. Okay. And then I'm just going to adjust this. I'm gonna make this bottom lip a little lighter because usually your bottom lip is a little lighter just because it's hitting light. Top lip's usually in shadow. Okay, I'm gonna grab this and I'm just gonna scooch it up. That looks okay. I might click on this bottom lip. I'm gonna right click and go arrange send to back. And that's just because, yeah, I think the top lip looks better on top. Um, And if I want to get fancy, I can always grab an ellipse tool. Usually people have like, I don't know what it's called, crow's peak, or they have like a little kind of cut right here. So what I could do is add a circle just kind of on top of the top lip. And then what I do is with this circle selected, I'm going to hold down Shift and click on the top lip. And then if we go to the right over here, these are the pathfinders. So this helps us merge shapes or subtract shapes from each other. If you go more options, you can see all the things they have. I'm just going to click on this minus front. And there you go. Just subtracted that. And like I did with the eyebrow, I'm going to click on the top lip and I'm going to go Object, Path, Smooth, which is just my lazy way of smoothing out that top part. Sweet. I'm calling that good. Move it over, place it where I want. That's pretty cute. Um, yeah. So let me grab all this. So I'm going to use my black arrow, drag my arrow over everything, and I'm going to hold down, I'm going to go up to the top corner here, and I'm going to drag it and see how the ratio is being ruined. So I need to hold down Alt and Shift at the same time as I'm dragging. It'll make it bigger so we can place it. Perfect. And I lied. I think I'm going to add one more thing. I'm going to add a top hair. I call this top hair. And below the face, I'm going to add a bottom hair. Or actually, let's call this, yeah, we'll call them a back hair. Back hair. Okay. So for back hair, it's pretty easy. I'm just gonna use my eyedropper tool and pick the color I chose for her eyebrows. It doesn't have to be the same, it can be different, but I am. And I'm gonna grab a rectangle tool and I'm gonna kind of go somewhere along the side of her face, click and drag. And oh, I forgot her ears too. Okay, ears I'll throw in on her head layer, but this is just supposed to be the back of her hair. If I want, I can use my white arrow and drag the bottom two corners and click and drag in to round those out. Um, it's bothering me. I'm going to the face layer and adding just two circles for ears really quickly. I'm just going to make two little circles. I want these circles to just be like there, hold down Alt to make a copy and put a circle on the other side. There, now she's got ears. Now she can hear people. So we got the back of the hair. Top of the hair is just something that has to sit on top of her head because your hair usually kind of overlaps your head. So I am going to, what I like to do for this is there's a few different ways you can do this. Well, you could just use a pen tool and let's grab our eyedropper to pick up the hair color and use a pen tool and we're just going to kind of pen out a kind of upper hair shape. All right. And I know it's covering up her head. That's okay. We're going to wrap around. So I'm going to wrap back around. Maybe she's got like a little Cupid's bow. I think that's what that's called. I'm probably getting these wrong, but that's fine. There we go. She kind of looks like she has a mullet. That's fine. So that can be the kind of top of the head. All right. And the reason I did that is because when we animate it, we'll grab the back of the head and we will kind of make it sway. And when it sways, you don't want it to move the top part. Okay. Um, what I might do is I might take the corners of the top of the back of the hair and also round those out. And I do that just so that when we make it rotate and sway, the corners don't pop out as much. Okay. I'm gonna fix the top of her hair a little bit because I just not loving it so much right now. Um, I'm going to click on this convert anchor point to corner because I think I want to give her more of like a hair part in the middle. That just moving and adjusting. I can click plus and add anchor points wherever I want. And this is just the top of the hair, and this shouldn't move that much. Like I'm not going to really have this move at all. Awesome. And if you want to be extra fancy, you can add bangs, other kind of details. Okay. Um, we're going to call this good. All right. So it's important to have each of these separate layers. Whatever you're going to animate needs to be a separate layer. Needs to be, yeah, it needs to be a separate layer. All right. So this is my little character that I'm going to animate with. So now all I need to do is go File, Save As, and I'm going to save this on my computer as an AI file. That means an Illustrator file, okay? In the next video, I'll show you how to open it up into After Effects and do some animation.